Honestly, this is what makes the romance feel refreshing. Nowadays, romance can feel like everybody is expected to skip directly to the premium subscription. The girl is apparently supposed to have a blue website. The guy is supposed to sit quietly in the corner of the hotel room like a well-trained house pet while his girlfriend shows whole online. You know, an anime has a problem when saying good morning becomes a full psychological event. We have shy people having internal court hearings over basic conversations. A girl treating a normal boyfriend like she discovered a rare Pokemon. And a friend group with approximately 3 functioning brain cells between them. Hey guys, folded legs here. Yes, there's gameplay in the background. No, it has absolutely nothing to do with this anime review. It is here for visual stimulation because apparently talking about anime isn't enough to keep your eyeballs from wandering off. That's why I'm guarding your ears from spoilers. Also, quick disclaimer, this anime review is intended for an older audience, so if you're a kid watching this, you probably shouldn't be. And if you're an adult letting your kid watch this,
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
please don't use my anime reviews as your babysitter. I am already struggling to supervise my own brain cells. Before we get started, I want to say a quick thank you. I know you could be anywhere on the internet, watching somebody scream at a video game or watching a 45-minute documentary about why a fictional character's haircut represents capitalism. But you're here. That genuinely means a lot to me, so thank you for spending some of your time with me. For the quick TLDR, we're going to do a spoiler-free comedic rendition of the plot. Then I'll give you my full review and tell you exactly what I thought about the anime, what worked, what didn't, and why my attention span eventually started looking for the emergency exit. So, with that out of the way, let's roll into the video. Section 1, the polar crash out. Look, if an introverted guy in an anime maintains eye contact for longer than 2 seconds, the female lead is legally required to experience a catastrophic system failure. Suzuki sees Suzuki and Tani simply existing, and her brain immediately starts playing the Windows shutdown sound.
Right back.
The man is breathing. That's it. He has done nothing. He hasn't even committed a crime. And she's standing there like, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed. Girl, he is literally just standing there. Please return your nervous system to the manufacturer. And then she starts making excuses to be around him. Except the excuses are so terrible, they might as well come with a confession attached. Oh, we're walking the same way home. Girl, that is not an excuse. That is a confession with a fake mustache glued to it. You are wearing the trench coat, but your entire ass is sticking out. Meanwhile, Suzuki Tani has the emotional expression of a man waiting for his microwave burrito to finish.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Nothing, no panic, no excitement, no visible brain activity. Just pure industrial-grade neutrality while Suzuki's internal organs are doing synchronized swimming. And honestly, this is what makes the romance feel refreshing. Nowadays, romance can feel like everybody is expected to skip directly to the premium subscription. The girl is apparently supposed to have a blue website. The guy is supposed to sit quietly in the corner of the hotel room like a well-trained house pet while his girlfriend shows whole online.
I would just be like, have fun, sweetie.
Okay, so you're a cuck.
And somehow we're supposed to call that emotional intimacy. These two are having a psychological crisis because somebody walked home together. Give me the agonizing anticipation. Give me 2 idiots spending 20 minutes wondering whether, hey, sounded too romantic. Give me the slow burn. I want people who actually have to figure out what they're feeling instead of treating romance like a fast food drive-thru. If somebody says, do you want to hang out? I want the other person spending 3 business days wondering if that was flirting. Suzuki is completely in love with this man, and she acts like she has already skipped several levels of the relationship tutorial. She's mentally decorating the living room while Yusuke Tani's brain is going, "Woman detected. What do?"
What would have been your last words to Drew?
Run, bitch! Run!
This man has apparently unlocked romance and immediately forgotten the controls. Her friends aren't helping either. They're basically a live studio audience watching her confidence collapse in real time. Suzuki talks like she's the final boss of romance, but put Yusuke Tani 3 feet away and suddenly she's operating on emergency backup power. And that's why the title is perfect. These two aren't just opposites. They are two different species trapped in the same dating simulator. Suzuki is running on 12 cans of emotional Red Bull, while Yusuke Tani has activated power-saving mode. The funniest part is that nobody here knows how to act normal. Everyone is overthinking everything. Everyone is socially malfunctioning. And the art style turns their anxiety into cartoon warfare. This isn't romance. This is two idiots attempting to date while their nervous systems file separate restraining orders. Section 2. Festival Fever and the Delinquent Couch Olympics. Tony has the entire friend group invading the library to surround the one guy with a functional brain like peasants gathering around a wizard. He is essentially the group's public education system. Naturally, the immediate follow-up is hitting a ramen joint, because anime teenagers physically cannot process a single human emotion without liquid salt and carbohydrates. Suzuki is bouncing off the walls, claiming she's normally extremely chill. Girl, you are not chill. You are a human energy drink with legs. She gets caught looking like she dressed during a fire drill, prompting her friends to aggressively gaslight Tony. You saw nothing, right? You people aren't witnesses in a murder trial. You're just covering for a girl who got caught being weird. Passing a cop instantly transforms her into the world's most suspicious innocent citizen.
I'm on TV! Oh, shit! First cops, now this? Oh, man, I'm be a star, son!
Hello, officer. 0 crimes here. Tony is standing there wondering if his girlfriend has an active warrant. Seeing a couple kissing in public causes a total short circuit. Severe public displays of affection make me want to climb into a dump truck and let nature take me. Meanwhile, Tony's zero social skills somehow make him the patron saint of local delinquents. Normal girls approach and his soul leaves his body, but delinquents show up and he's suddenly a mob boss. His grandma catches Suzuki at the house and hits them with ultimate grandma technology. Would you like some vegetables? No interrogation, no screaming, just cabbage. Then a walking thirst trap from Suzuki's past appears, forcing Tony's brain to launch a 12-part internal documentary titled, "Who the Fuck Is This Guy and Why Is He So Attractive?"
Get that motherfucker!
This show works because social media lied and said dating requires a 90-step beauty routine or being 6'4" with a yacht. Meanwhile, in reality, men will literally fuck a couch. Human beings are not selective. We've convinced ourselves dating is a corporate job interview, when all people actually want is an idiot who looks at them and says, "Yeah, you'll do." Suzuki and Tony are just two awkward disasters failing their way through love without filters or performance reviews, and somehow that is revolutionary. Section 3. 2 brain cells and a museum ticket. The entire friend group, minus Yusuke Tani, is hanging out at a park reminiscing about how great middle school used to be, while simultaneously proving that high school has apparently caused irreversible brain damage.
So I want to give you the demonstration of what it's like to be a parkourer, all right? 3.
These people are bouncing around on one of those spring-mounted playground things with a chicken on top. The kind specifically designed for toddlers who still think eating crayons is a balanced breakfast. These are high school students. They have driver's licenses approaching them at alarming speed, and they're out here riding a playground chicken like the economy collapsed. At least they're self-aware. They know they're goofballs. Collectively, this group has about 2 brain cells and both of them are fighting over custody of the turkey. Then we have Nishay, who's having a full psychological crisis because she forgot to text someone back. Not because she said something horrible, not because she started a war. She just forgot to answer a message, and now she's treating it like she has been indicted by the United Nations.
Women.
Then the guy says hello to her the next day, and her brain immediately goes, "Holy shit, I survived." She sees Suzuki Tani afterward and manages to say good morning while internally celebrating like she just completed a successful human interaction. Girl is down catastrophic. If somebody said hello to her in an attractive voice, she'd probably have an aneurysm. Somebody call 911. Her nervous system has left the building. Suzuki sees the interaction and immediately starts connecting conspiracy dots. She basically exposes Nashi's entire operation like she's the Sai, and women are apparently all government plants designed to monitor male social activity. Suddenly, she's interrogating Yusuke Tani with the energy of a jealous girlfriend protecting her national treasure. Who was that? Why did she talk to you? Why did you answer? What did the hello mean? Ma'am, it was a greeting. He didn't sign a fucking peace treaty. Tani and Suzuki end up at her house, and you can practically see some tiny gremlin with a bow and arrow shooting little heart-shaped projectiles through the air. Even Suzuki's mom is participating in the nonsense. Her dad comes home early and immediately joins the performance, putting on his coolest shirt like he's trying to shave 15 years off his age before realizing this situation requires alcohol. The man starts spiraling into drinking like somebody just handed him a side quest called Survive Your Daughter's Love Life. It's Tani's birthday, and Suzuki is completely losing her mind. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because she genuinely has no idea how she's supposed to react. Romance has turned this woman into a malfunctioning Roomba. She wants to do something special, but her brain is just screaming, boyfriend, birthday, feelings, emergency. He decides they should go to a history museum. Of course he does. Tani is apparently thinking, what better way to celebrate my birthday than several centuries of historical artifacts? Meanwhile, Suzuki is looking at this museum like, I haven't been here since I was a child. Guess I'll smile and pretend I understand whatever the fuck we're looking at. And honestly, this is where I understand Tani on a spiritual level. He is the quiet, logical type who can look at some dusty historical object and genuinely think, man, this shit is fascinating. Meanwhile, everyone else is trying to figure out how to behave like a normal teenager. That's basically my entire personality in a nutshell. People don't understand it, and honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. Give me something weird, oddly specific, and unnecessarily historical, and suddenly my brain clocks in for its shift. Meanwhile, everyone else is still riding the fucking chicken. Section 4. The boyfriend has discovered instructions. The friend group is at some random food place, and Suzuki looks over at whatever Yusuke Tani is making and immediately goes, oh my god, that looks so good. How did you make that? And this man gives the most devastatingly boring answer possible. He just followed the directions. That's it. He read the instructions and did what they told him to do.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Suzuki is looking at him like he just won an Olympic gold medal in advanced human functioning. Girl, he read the fucking box. Please maintain composure. Then the friend group starts questioning whether she is actually dating Yusuke Tani, because apparently whenever Suzuki talks to a boy, it usually means absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, she's internally having a full nuclear meltdown because she wants this man to freaking initiate things more. She is basically yelling at the universe, I have a boyfriend. Why isn't he boyfriending me hard, Yuge? Meanwhile, Yuzuke Tani is probably somewhere thinking, I thought we were hanging out. Then they go to the mountains together and take photos, and the contrast between them is fucking incredible. Suzuki is sitting there with the biggest grin imaginable, face flushed, looking like she just got handed the deed to Disneyland. Yusuke Tani looks like someone just asked him to take a passport photo. She's radiating enough happiness to power a small city, and he's sitting there like, can you just take the picture?
You were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
Why would I ever say that? I mean,
I love this anxious little goofball because her brain cannot process a normal interaction without opening a 12-tab investigation. You could tell her, hello, and she'd immediately start analyzing the evidence. Was he saying hello to me nicely? Was he being sarcastic? Does he say hello like that to everyone? Does he say hello like that to other girls? Am I just another girl to him? Does he even like me? Girl, he said hello. You have turned a greeting into the fucking Zapruder film. And then Yusuke Tani actually gets a little bold, basically telling her she should stay there a little longer, babe. And Suzuki's brain probably just experienced the digital equivalent of a building collapse. Meanwhile, he is apparently regretting the photo because he doesn't look enough like a literal fucking panda. This man has standards, and they are completely unrelated to the situation happening around him. And now we reach the final episode of season 1, which I am not even going to try describing normally because this anime basically takes everything we've been laughing about and throws it into a blender with emotional damage. I'm going to make an artist rendition for this one because trying to explain it without spoiling the experience would be like describing a birthday present while actively shaking the box. What I can say is that this episode somehow contains the funniest energy of the entire season while also bringing in the heartfelt side that has been quietly building underneath all the stupidity. We get Naruto running nonsense, Ferris wheel romance, downtown Tokyo, and enough emotional seasoning to make the final stretch hit way harder than you expect from an anime, where people nearly have nervous breakdowns over the word hello. It's a genuinely great way to wrap up the season. So let's move on to the final verdict, because now I want to dig into why this ridiculous little romance works as well as it does. Section 5. Beautiful, hilarious, and somehow too peaceful. Let's start with the art style, because holy shit, this anime looks good. I genuinely think they did a phenomenal job with the artwork. 1 second, you're looking at a beautiful background that looks ridiculously detailed, and the next second, somebody's face has been stretched into a shape that should require a medical license to explain. Then they'll hit you with some goofy little expression, and somehow it works perfectly. The characters can go from genuinely pretty to looking like they just received devastating financial news in about half a second, and I love it. The artist clearly understood that sometimes the correct response to an emotion is not a subtle facial expression, but turning somebody's entire head into a cartoon potato. Now the plot is where things get a little complicated for me. It's not bad. In fact, the plot is probably one of the anime's strengths if this is your kind of show. It stays focused, it knows what it wants to be, and it doesn't randomly take a U-turn into another genre because somebody in the writing room drank 3 energy drinks. The problem is that my brain eventually starts asking, okay, this is nice, but when are we setting the building on fire? Compared to something like My Dress Up Darling, which had me locked in, or Solo Leveling, where my brain is basically strapped into a chair screaming for more explosions, power-ups, giant aura buffs, and hair that somehow gets bigger every time somebody gets angry. This anime didn't grab me the same way. I could watch an episode, enjoy it, and then immediately find myself scrolling through TikTok like a raccoon that just discovered an unattended phone. And that's the weird part. I like the anime. I just didn't have that uncontrollable need to immediately watch the next episode. I could stop after one episode without feeling like I had just been personally threatened by the cliffhanger. That's probably great for people who like a slower, steadier slice of life romance. But my brain apparently needs somebody to throw a chair through a window every 20 minutes. Where this anime absolutely destroys it, though, is the character development. Suzuki and Tani starts out as this extremely quiet guy who doesn't really care about making friends or performing for everyone around him. By the end, he's still fundamentally the same person, but he's clearly grown. He's more connected to people, more comfortable opening up, and more willing to actually participate in the world around him. And that's what I really like about his development. They didn't take this quiet guy and suddenly turn him into the most socially confident man alive. He doesn't wake up one morning screaming, "Good morning, fellow humans, I have discovered friendship." He's still Suzuki and Tani. He's just Suzuki and Tani, with some character development installed and the social settings turned up from 2 to maybe 4. So for me, this lands at a 6.5 out of 10, and before anybody starts sharpening the pitchforks, no, that does not mean I think this anime is bad. I actually think it's pretty damn good. My problem is simply that the plot is too steady for my particular flavor of brain damage. I had serious trouble watching more than one episode at a time because eventually my brain would go, "Yep, that was good." Anyway, let's see what TikTok is doing. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you love slice of life romance, goofy relationships, awkward characters, and watching two people nearly suffer organ failure because somebody said hello, put this shit on immediately. You will probably have a great time. But if your favorite anime involves somebody screaming for 12 minutes while their hair gets progressively more aerodynamic, their aura destroys 3 buildings, and they unlock a new form because somebody looked at them funny, then this probably isn't your battlefield. This anime is good at exactly what it wants to be. It is consistent, charming, funny, and genuinely adorable. Unfortunately for me, consistency is sometimes the enemy of my attention span. I need a little chaos. I need somebody to get launched through a wall. I need the plot to occasionally look at me and say, "You thought we were being normal? Fuck you." So yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Good anime, great characters, fantastic art, solid development. Just not quite enough plot velocity to keep my goblin brain from wandering off and getting kidnapped by TikTok. Outro. The brain cell is returned. Okay, this is where we take a second to step away from the brain rot and actually focus for a moment. No promises though. I have already proven that I cannot be trusted with that responsibility. Overall, I really enjoyed this anime for what it was. It has fantastic artwork, genuinely lovable characters, great character development, and a really good understanding of awkward teenage romance. It just wasn't quite my personal flavor of anime. I need a little more chaos, a little more momentum. That doesn't make the anime bad though, quite the opposite. For me, it just wasn't something I could binge for hours without eventually wandering off to TikTok like a distracted raccoon. I appreciate you spending part of your day hanging out with me and listening to me verbally dismantle an anime. And for those of you who made it all the way to the end, here's the secret code for today's video, ramen chicken. Because apparently that's what happens when you give me an anime about romance and 2 brain cells. If you enjoyed the video, you already know what to do. If you didn't, congratulations, you survived anyway. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Folded legs, rolling out,